In the dusty heart of the American frontier, where the sun scorched the earth like an unrelenting forge, a widow named Eliza clutched her 2 young children to her chest as the wind howled through the cracks of their ramshackle cabin. It was 1885, and the drought had claimed everything, her husband to fever, their crops to barren soil, and now, their last scraps of hope. Eliza's once vibrant eyes, framed by lines etched from endless nights of worry, stared at the empty pantry, knowing that tomorrow's dawn would bring only more hunger. As her son, little Tommy, whimpered softly in his sleep, and her daughter, Sarah, gazed up with wide, trusting eyes, Eliza whispered a prayer to the heavens, "Lord, if I must give them up to survive, let it be to someone with a kinder soul than this cruel world." Eliza had heard tales of the orphan trains rumbling east, carrying children to uncertain fates in bustling cities, but the thought tore at her like thorns. She was 32, her hands calloused from tilling soil that gave nothing back, her heart heavy with the weight of a love that demanded sacrifice. The children were all she had left of her late husband, Jacob, a man who'd dreamed of building a homestead where laughter echoed louder than the coyotes' cries. But dreams withered faster than the land here in Kansas, and Eliza knew she couldn't watch her babies starve. That morning, as the sun crested the horizon like a reluctant witness, she bundled them in their threadbare clothes and set out for the nearest town, her steps faltering but resolute. "It's for you," she murmured to Sarah, who clung to her skirt. "A better life, even if it breaks me." The town of Willow Creek was a speck on the map, a cluster of saloons, a general store, and a telegraph office buzzing with whispers of gold strikes further west. Dust devils danced down the main street as Eliza approached the orphanage run by the stern-faced Mrs. Hargrove, a woman known for her efficiency but not her warmth. The building loomed like a judgment, its wooden facade peeling under the relentless sun. Eliza's throat tightened as she knocked, her children huddling behind her. When the door creaked open, Mrs. Hargrove's eyes narrowed at the sight of them, dirty, gaunt, but alive with the spark of innocence. "Another one," she sighed, as if Eliza were delivering stray cattle. "The trains are full, but we'll see what we can do." "Names and ages?" Eliza knelt before her children, tears carving clean paths down her dust-streaked cheeks. "Tommy's 5, Sarah's 3. They re good kids, ma'am. They ye work hard, learn quick. Just, promise me they'll stay together." Her voice broke, a raw plea that echoed the ache in her soul. Tommy tugged at her sleeve, his lower lip trembling. "Mama, don't leave us." Sarah buried her face in Eliza's apron, tiny fists clenching fabric as if it were a lifeline. The moment stretched, a knife's edge of despair, until a shadow fell across the threshold. A tall figure on horseback, silhouetted against the blazing sky. It was a cowboy, weathered by the trails, his hat tipped low over eyes that had seen too many sunsets alone. His name was Harlan Reed, a drifter from Texas who'd wandered north after losing his own family to a raid years back. Harlan wasn't one for words, the scars on his hands spoke of cattle drives, gunfights, and nights under stars that offered no comfort. He'd ridden into Willow Creek for supplies, his horse, a loyal bay named Dusty, snorting at the scent of impending rain that never came. But as he tied Dusty to the post outside the general store, his gaze caught on the scene at the orphanage, a woman on her knees, offering her world to strangers. Harlan's boots crunched on the gravel as he approached, his spurs jingling like distant bells. Mrs. Hargrove glanced up, annoyed. "This ain't your business, cowboy. Move along." But Harlan ignored her, crouching to Eliza's level, his voice a low rumble softened by an unexpected gentleness. "Ma'am, what's got you here on this forsaken day?" Eliza looked up, startled, her eyes meeting his, steel blue and steady, like the first clear stream after a desert crossing. She wiped her face with the back of her hand. "My children, they're starving. I can't feed 'em no more. Take my children, please. Give 'em a chance I can't." The words hung in the air, a desperate offering that pierced Harlan like an arrow. He glanced at Tommy and Sarah, their white eyes reflecting a fear he knew all too well, the fear of being cast adrift in a world that chewed up the vulnerable. Memories flooded him, his wife, lost to childbirth, his infant son, taken by illness on a lonely ranch. He'd buried them under a lone oak, vowing never to let his heart tether to anyone again. Drifting was safer, attachments were chains that broke you. But here, in this moment, something stirred, an unexpected turn, a crack in the armor he'd forged from solitude. Harlan stood slowly, his jaw set. "I ain't one for talking, what's not mine," he said, his voice steady but laced with emotion. Amrs, Hargrove have. Thing heat. These kids need homes, not gawkers. But Harlan turned to Eliza, extending a hand roughened by reins and ropes. Ma'am, if you're giving 'em up, 'cause the land's turned on you, maybe it's time to turn with it. You got a spread down south, not much, but enough for a start. Cattle to tend, a roof that don't leak. Take my children? No. Ye take you too. Eliza froze, her breath catching. It was a profound realization, blooming like a wildflower in cracked earth, this stranger, with nothing to gain, offering not just salvation for her children, but for her shattered spirit. Why, she whispered, searching his face for deceit, finding only sincerity. Harlan shrugged, a faint smile tugging at his lips. Seem too much alone in this life. Grateful kindness is the only thing that sticks when the dust settles. We're all starving, for something, food, love, a second chance. Let's fill it together. The town watched in hushed awe as Eliza rose, her hand in his, the children clustering around them like chicks to a hen. Mrs. Hargrove muttered about fools and folly, but even she couldn't deny the spark of humanity igniting in that dusty street. Harlan helped them onto Dusty, Tommy in front, Sarah nestled against Eliza's back as they rode out of Willow Creek. The journey south was arduous, blistering days, starlit nights where stories unfolded like maps to hidden treasures. Harlan shared tales of the open range, of sunrises that painted the sky in hope. Eliza spoke of Jacob, of dreams deferred, and in those exchanges, walls crumbled. But the path wasn't smooth. An unexpected storm hit on the third night, thunder cracking like gunfire, rain turning the trail to mud. Their meager supplies soaked through, and Sarah fell ill with a fever that burned hot as the absent sun. Eliza panicked, cradling her daughter by a sputtering fire, tears mingling with rain. I should have left him, she sobbed. This is my curse. Harlan, ever steady, knelt beside her, his large hands gentle as he brewed willow bark tea from his saddlebag. Ainte no curse, Eliza. Life tests us to see what we're made of. You're made of steel wrapped in silk. As Sarah's fever broke at dawn, Eliza saw him anew, not just a rescuer, but a man who'd chosen compassion over convenience, selflessness over solitude. They reached Harlan's ranch as autumn whispered through the leaves, a modest spread nestled in a valley where a river ran clear and cattle grazed on stubborn grass. It wasn't paradise, but it was possibility. Harlan taught Tommy to rope, Sarah to gather eggs from the coop he'd built years ago in quiet anticipation of a family that never came. Eliza's hands found purpose in the garden, coaxing life from soil that responded to her touch. Laughter returned, tentative at first, then booming like thunder after rain. The emotional climax came one evening as the sun dipped low, gilding the horizon in gold. Eliza found Harlan by the oak tree where he'd buried his past, a simple marker etched with love. You gave us everything, she said, her voice thick with gratitude. Why me? Why you ese? Harlan turned, his eyes glistening. Because in you, I saw myself, broken, but not beyond mending. Taking, your children would have been easy. But taking, you too? That's building, someting, real. Kindness ain't a handout, it's a hand up, pushing us all forward. In the years that followed, the ranch flourished, a beacon for other wanderers seeking solace. Eliza and Harlan married under that same oak, their vows a testament to the power of humanity's quiet revolutions. Tommy grew into a rancher with his father's spirit, Sarah into a teacher who spread stories of redemption. And through it all, the tale of the starving widow and the cowboy who took her too became legend, whispered around campfires and dinner tables, a reminder that in our darkest hours, selflessness can rewrite destinies. As the stars wheeled overhead, eternal and unyielding, the message echoed, in a world that often starves the soul, one act of compassion can nourish generations. Hope isn't found in grand gestures, but in the simple choice to say, I'll take you too. And in that choice lies the true power of humanity, imbricable, uplifting, and forever inspiring.